Rumours of his being in agony and a possible war of succession had plunged Côte d'Ivoire into doubt and anguish. It brought back the bad memories of the end of the rule of Houphouët-Boigny and his months in hospital abroad. The excitement that characterized the presidential convoy was more the sign of a great sigh of relief.
The opening day of Oscar Pistorius' trial ended with so many unanswered questions. Many people believe that personal safety is likely going to play out in the proceedings. Others are also worried about the potential opening of a Pandora's box for a case that has so far attracted widespread attention around the world. CNN's Robin Connor explains why we warn you the story contains graphic images.
Crime scene cordoned off, a man stabbed to death as a community looks on. About 45 people are murdered in South Africa every day, according to police statistics. Many others are hijacked in their cars or attacked at home. South Africans are all too aware that the country's high crime rate will be as much in focus in the upcoming court proceedings as Oscar Pistorius.
We know that 65%...
Johan Berger is a former policeman who now works as a crime researcher at the Institute of Security Studies.
I'm also afraid, I've got a whole procedure that I go through every evening to make certain that as far as is possible for me, I have all my security systems in place. I'm not going to say, what else I do, but the fact is I am aware of the situation in this country. And I think it would be completely irresponsible not to take appropriate action.
Pistorius shot his own 9mm, just like this one, pumping 4 hollow-point bullets, according to sources familiar with the investigation, through a locked bathroom door, hitting his girlfriend inside. Pistorius' defense is that he was scared of an intruder and so took appropriate action, unaware that Riva was behind the door. However, Barry Peters, who's a competitive target shooter, says South Africa's gun ownership laws are tight and clear about safety and self-defense.
You have to be under a serious life-threatening situation. There's no ways that you can just, think that you're being attacked and then fire a weapon at somebody.
As for the ballistics, while it's not illegal to own hollow-point bullets, as Peters demonstrates, compared to other bullets on the market, they are destructive on impact.
You'll see the little serrations on the side, which on impact, those little serrations will open up like that. And besides the mushroom that it will form almost like a little fan. Remember now, it's also spinning. So you can imagine the amount of damage that can do to you.
Pistorius says in court documents he felt especially vulnerable because he didn't have his prosthetics on.
I'm actually only supposed to walk on them. But
in 2008, in the room he would eventually share with Riva Steenkamp that night, Pistorius showed CNN where his legs were amputated as a child.
It's about midway. I mean, if you had to put it about there, it would be about halfway down.
It's this disability and the high crime rate that'll no doubt be used in court as a reason for Pistorius' alleged fear and paranoia about an intruder in the night. Meanwhile, the state will continue to argue that he knew who was behind the closed door and that he deliberately shot Riva Steenkamp dead. Robin Kerno, CNN, Pretoria.
Well, China's Xinhua news agency says 3 more suspects have been captured after the weekend attack in Kunming. A vigil has been held for 29 people killed at the city's train station. CNN's David McKenzie reports.
Of a horrific attack. Bodies scattered across Kunming Station in southwest China. The suspects wielded long knives and machetes as they struck.
Authorities describe it as a coordinated attack. They say 10 attackers came, mostly dressed in black, perhaps including one woman, and started hacking and stabbing people indiscriminately.
I saw 4 people die right here, says Hu Zhirong. It was such a terrible sight. One person was lying face down with a knife still stuck in their back. She says hundreds, many of them wounded, fled for their lives. They came running towards here, trying to find a place to hide, says her son Chang. We let them all in so they could stay safe. Chang says they've washed away the blood now and they're trying to move on. But his 3-year-old son Junyu witnessed the terror and he can't sleep. The emotional wounds have cut too deep. The physical wounds are still being counted.
This ward is overflowing with victims from this attack. Many of them, in fact, most of them that I've seen have wounds directly to the head. It's clear that these attackers were aiming to kill.
So 58-year-old street vendor Dong Win Chan is lucky. He was taking a train to visit his sick mother. His wife is still in shock. We never could have imagined this happening, she says. Dong slips in and out of consciousness, bits of blade still stuck in his skull. His daughter hopes he will make it through surgery okay, but mostly she's angry. I just feel those people are horrible, she says, and I hate them. Like many here, she's searching for answers as Kunming takes stock of its loss. David Mackenzie, CNN, Kunming, China.
Now take a second break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. And before we take leave of you, a recap of our headline-making stories. The $1 billion Simandina Soma Road Network project that seeks to revive the major economic lifeline of provincial Gambia opens up to the traffic. A new butchery along the Karaba Avenue is captivating the attention of the top echelons of power, who welcome the development with a sigh of relief. Thousands of Ivorians have welcomed the return of President Alassane Ouattara back to the country after his successful medical treatment in France. And the trial of South Africa's famed athlete Oscar Pistorius, charged with murder, has opened up a Pandora's box. Many are asking whether the historic case will receive fair judgment. Well, that was all in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Until then, I am Fatou Janembai, and good night. Highlights of Summit and Human Security, Peace and Development is next.
The President of the Republic, His Excellency Sir Professor Alhaji Dr. Yaya Jammeh, recently led a high-powered delegation to Abuja, Nigeria, on the occasion of the centenary celebrations of Africa's most populous country. As part of the program of activities, a summit-level international conference was held on the theme Human Security, Peace and Development, Agenda for 21st Century Africa. Several dozen heads of state and government, mostly from Africa and elsewhere, as well as the French president, representatives of international organizations and foreign governments, were all at hand. With fast-evolving and rapidly changing global and regional security dynamics, the theme for the summit could never have come at any better time. The current security situation in the sub-region and elsewhere is real cause for concern.